Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are all over the world. This is your host, your guy, DLG Reppin. Now, ladies to the gentlemen, to the boys, to the girls, I want you to understand that this is quite emotional for me, if I'm being totally honest with myself. And that is, excuse me. Fucking hell. Excuse my language. This is based on the last 8 days with the protests relating to the death and the brutality and the murder of George Floyd, 46-year-old. Yeah, I just needed to keep it off football for a little bit. It's just due to the fact that it touched my heart that many Premier League players, such as the Newcastle, the Wolves, Chelsea, and what started off was Liverpool players, they've all done their knee on the ground for George Floyd, and it's very moving. And I see as per the creator here, he has said that we need a better world with more love without hate. I'm going to read where I've highlighted it here, and he makes a great point. I mean, we're all human. We're all the same. We all bleed the same. You know? Every day, discrimination keeps evolving, in whether you're at work, whether you're out on the streets, you could be at a house party, you could be anywhere. The bigotry continues, and it still continues. Even at watching football. You know, whether me working as a steward or me being a spectator, it's always around the terraces. And I'm glad that we don't see fans around the world. I mean, around the terraces. And that's for the sake of the coronavirus and for the greater good. No fans should be in the terraces. And that's not having a go at any football team who are about to win the league sooner rather than later. That's just for saving lives. But I'm going to read what Aspilicueta said here. He says Chelsea stars took the knee as captain says that Aspilicueta called for a better world with more love and hate. I mean, more love without hate. The Premier League players halted training to join the wave of anti-racism protests following George Floyd's death. Floyd died in police custody in Minnesota 9 days ago, sparkling mass riots across the United States. Players yesterday posted a black square on social media accounts viewed by hundreds of millions of fans as part of hashtag Blackout Tuesday, inspired by the Black Lives Matters cause. Chelsea, Newcastle United and Wolverhampton Wanderers were among the teams to interrupt training so players could place one knee on the ground as a united show of support, following Liverpool's example on Monday. And the Spaniard says here, and it says here, where I've highlighted, the Spaniard 30 said, "We want to use our position to express that we are living in a world where we have to try to improve it for the future, to be a better world with more love without hate. We have seen recently the results of racism, and we see every day that kind of hate has to be eradicated from society." It read, I'm going to read some more where I've highlighted. It read, a couple of days after George Floyd's death, my I'm gonna read. Yeah, this is coming from DeAndre Edlin of Newcastle. Right back. It read here. Yeah, a couple of days after George Floyd's death, my granddaughter texted me and told me he's glad I am not living in the US right now because he would fear for my life as a young black man. As days have passed, this text from my grandfather has not been able to leave my mind. He was born in 1946, lived through the civil rights movement, lived through some terribly racist times in US history, and now 70 years later he still fears for the life of his black grandchild. That's just that's just the sickening society of the world that we're living in today. 70 years later, DeAndre Yedlin's grandfather still fears for the life of his grandchildren. I mean, this is 2020. This is a 21st century millennium era, and we still got to worry about this bigotry, this sickening hatred, this vile torture that lives in our society. Although it's impossible to get rid of it, at least let's call for peace. Let's call for unity. Let's just allow the world to flow without all this bigotry, without all this fuckery. Excuse my French. I'm going to read on here where I've highlighted. Deputy PFA Chief Bobby Barnes believes Jadon Sancho should be applauded, not sanctioned for his justice for George Floyd protest on Saturday. And this is what I was saying. You know, he should be respected and applauded. You know, well said, Bobby Barnes. Well said. He should be applauded and should be praised for what he done. And yet, the referee gives him a yellow card. I don't like swearing here, especially when I'm doing my video recording, but referee, you can go fuck yourself for booking Jadon Sancho. I just thought I'd get that one in there. And I'm not going to excuse my English on that. Right. The England star was given a yellow card after taking off his shirt and showing his support, having scored the first of his 3 goals for Dortmund. And, yeah, the official himself should use his common sense. How can you be booking someone for showing his support and condolences to another black man who was murdered brutality by a racist police officer? I just can't fathom why he would even book him. He didn't even think twice. He just got a yellow card out. And I've said what I've had to say, referee. You might not be listening, but I'll tell you what, anyone else around the world is listening, yeah? Then drop your comments below. And I'd like to say thank you for saying what... I'd like to say thank you to Azpilicueta for saying what he has said. You know, and every word that he's spoken was well spoken and true to the word sense. And whether you're a Chelsea fan, Wolves or Newcastle United fan, do get back to me on this, yeah? And yeah, we'll have a conversation. And earlier on during my video, I felt a little bit emotional. I had to turn away for a few seconds, and yeah, you have to bear in mind it's not easy doing this, you know. And I did say it was quite emotional for me, and there you are. It is hard not to feel emotional right now. And Chelsea, like Liverpool, Chelsea, Newcastle, and Wolverhampton Wanderers have both followed the lead of what Liverpool done, and that is a fantastic example and support of love and support and show of love from Premier League players, and I hope more and more Premier League clubs can do the same. Right, and reading on, Arsenal legend Thierry Henry, now head coach at MLS side Montreal Impact, said, "Why is this still happening in 2020? Why do the same races applaud any ethnic minority who plays for the team they support, but abuse the same minorities on the street?" I'll answer that question to you, Henri. They're messed up in the head. They're beyond dense, ignorant, and pompous. That's why they do it. And they hide behind a drink. They hide behind the word banter. When it's not banter, it is beyond personal. When someone says to you, "Yeah, I'm only bantering," nah, that's not bantering. When you've called someone an N-word, that's not bantering. When you've called an Asian person the P-word, that's not bantering. When you called an Oriental person a word beginning with C, that's not bantering. Even when you call them, well, I shouldn't say even, I should say even, should I say even, or for the fact that you call a white person a racial word beginning with H, that is not bantering. That's gone from bantering to personal. So, well, the message is clear to anyone who thinks bantering about racist discrimination, such as racism, fascism, yeah? Mind your mouth and mind how you say things. And if you're gonna have a little joke, know how you're saying it. Because at this time, it is an emotional one. So you need to understand how you're saying things. Anyway, moving on. Or actually, should I say moving on? Reading on. Yeah, it's gone on too long. We do urgently need to change. We demand change, and most importantly, we deserve change. Make it happen now. Enough is enough. I couldn't agree with Thierry Henry more. Enough is enough. You know, things have to change, and for the better. So, what is going to be done in the United States? What is Donald Trump going to do? Well, in fact, he hasn't done nothing at all, but added more fuel to the fire. And like the lady who works as a BBC News reporter, like the lady said to you, Donald Trump, if you haven't got nothing constructive to say, well, I'll say it in my own way. Keep your fucking mouth shut, prick. And that one I am not taking back. Right. Do excuse my emotional side. It's not something I'm proud of. And people, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're listening, I do apologise for my emotional part of me. That's not what I come to be. That's not what I've created myself to be. So, if you were listening today and you've got anything to say, then drop your comments below. If you're going to drive the thumbs up like button, yeah, do so. Less than the thumbs down. But I can understand if there's a couple of thumbs down for this. And I'll say it always, do subscribe to my channel. That's DLG Reppin. Subscribe to my channel, smash the subscribe button left, right and centre galore, and smash it passionately. So moving on to other news, and Nadim Anora, ex-Man City and Queen's Park Rangers defender, has said that he does not feel safe in the USA, and that's where he's living, you know, because he plays for a club out there. He's 33 years of age, and that's where he's earning a living. And the way these riots, the way these protesters are running wild, it's just barbaric. And someone has to call for a peace. Someone has to call for peace out there. Peace offering, should I say. It's getting out of hand. People could end up getting hurt, and then there's a coronavirus. So how many people are going to die then? There's no way 2 meter distances is going to apply over there. No way. And then they've got an incompetent president, possibly the worst ever. The worst thing that's ever happened to the USA is Donald Trump becoming president, and the worst president ever in the history of the country since it claimed independence. You know, you need leadership. You need a voice. You need that figurehead. And Donald Trump has failed in abundance. And reading what has come out of Honora's lips, basically he says here, former Manchester City defender Nadum Honora says he does not feel 100% safe in the USA. Honora, who plays for Utah-based Real Salt Lake in Major League Soccer after spending 6 years at QPR. He says here, I am always very wary of how I behave and how it could be viewed by people who have power. Honora, who is now 33, told BBC Radio 5 Live. For me personally, overall, I don't like to say it, but I have a fear and distrust towards the police. Well, for what they've done to George Floyd brutally and unlawfully, I don't blame you for having fears. You know, I don't blame you for having fears and distrust towards the police. I mean, I criticise the police in this country, but at least there's some fight in them in this country. Where in the United States, it just seems like they just don't care. They'll almost arrest 90% of black people unlawfully and forcefully for just hanging around or waiting for someone. That black person could be waiting for someone. They could be walking around looking for a street where they need to be. For example, they might have an important interview or an appointment, and they're walking around the streets here looking for this particular road or street or avenue, and then they get stopped by police because they're seen to be as drug dealers or accused to be as drug dealers. Well, this is how Nora feels. You know how society in the United States works. It's not working according to plan. In fact, it is disgusting. Just totally disgusting. It's that deep. It makes me feel sick to the teeth. So it's hard. It's hard to comprehend how it's going to stop. For me, if you QPR fans, Man City fans, those that you remember Noha, if you feel that you want to comment on this channel, please do so. And I look forward to hearing from you. And other than that, I hope you're enjoying the context so far. I know it's not the best start because of the emotional side of me, and I hope you can understand that. Right, moving on. Well, saving the best to last, I'd like to talk about Arsenal, and that's my team. However, it don't feel that, well, we're going to have a poor summer again. It's heading that way. Unless I'm proven wrong, we're going to have a poor summer. We're going to be bringing in players that wouldn't get into Man United starting 11. I can't, right now, I don't think I can name more than two players that will get into Tottenham starting 11. They said the same could be said about Chelsea, Manchester City. I don't think there's one Arsenal player that will get into Man City's starting 11. Unless otherwise, then yeah, drop it in the comments below. I don't expect to see one Arsenal player getting to Liverpool starting 11. Again, unless I'm wrong, then drop it in the comments below. I mean, when I look at Arsenal, I just think to myself, it's still a mess at the top. Keswick is just the start of things. That's just one bit of dirt that you've got off in 15 years, 10 years, I don't know. But the rest of it is still a mess. We've got a chief executive who's not competent at the moment. We got one of the directors in Josh Kroenke who has mocked Arsenal fans, basically, who has just belittled Arsenal fans by telling us to be excited. What are we excited about? Difficult fixtures, being ninth in the Premier League. Yeah, difficult remaining fixtures and being ninth in the Premier League. And out of Europe early. So we should be excited. Do me a favour. What can I say? The players that shouldn't even be there. I can look at the goalkeeper situation. And I haven't got nothing against Martinez, but I feel that he may move on. He may want a new challenge, so he may move on. The defenders, wow. When I heard that David Luiz has apparently signed a 2-year contract deal. Now, Mikel Arteta, I've got nothing against your judgment, but this player, you keep picking him, he will put you and your job under pressure. And serious amount of pressure. It's players like Luiz that will get you the sack, such as Mustafi that will get you the sack, such as Socrates, they'll get you the sack. You know, these are the players that are not good enough for the club. And people can come at me for being negative, but I want what's best for Arsenal. I want what's best. Yeah, I just want Arsenal to be at competing at the highest level for trophies. But that's not happening because of the lack of ambition shown by the club, board directors. You know, I've said what I've had to say about Stan Kroenke. He's more concerned about his Colorado Rapids, his ice hockey team, than he is with Arsenal. And though, from his part, he has given the recruiters money, but the recruiters have invested it in the wrong players. Midfield, for example, Xhaka. You know? Torreira, we'll never know how good a defensive midfielder he will be because management don't seem to fancy him. And plus, yeah, when we are up against a counter-attack, yeah, he's not going to be there to put the fire out. You can't ask Xhaka to do it. There's no one else to do it because Granit Xhaka, in my eyes, he's whether he's improved under Arteta or not, that's another debate. But for me, 4 years, he has been poor. Completely poor. He's not worthy of his place in the first team. This is the man who took off his Arsenal shirt, took off his armband. He took off his armband, flung it on the floor. He rated Arsenal fans when asked to come off. Regardless if you're getting abused on social media, although I don't condone your wife or your child being brutally abused on social media, but however, you was asked to come off to the pitch. And the management at the time, Dick Henry, should I say, had managed him and managed the players poorly. All right, his English wasn't so good, but it don't excuse the poor performances, the poor results, and the poor starting 11 setup. And it's been a poor season due to the fact that we've had 3 managers. What the fuck? We are Arsenal Football Club. We're not moving like a big club at the moment. We're moving like a Barnet. We're moving like a Dulwich Hamlet. We're actually moving like a Maidenhead United. What the fuck? It's not been good enough for 15 years. Granit Xhaka, he's got away with it with 4 different management. The same could be said about Mustafi. How are they still Arsenal players? Just not good enough. Get rid. I said in an interview on AFTV, there was up to 7 to 9 players that we need to get rid of. I think it's deeper than that. 10 players. El Neni, Mkhitaryan, Xhaka, Mustafi, Luiz, Socrates, Bellerin, Kolasinac. I think it still keeps going on. And why would we want to sign a left back when ideally we need another right back? Because Bellerin needs to go, and we haven't got that many price assets. That's why I am strongly for the youth to come into the first team, because tomorrow they could be the price assets. The price assets representing Arsenal for the long term. I would like to see more of Reece Nelson's and Joe Willock, and I would like to see more of Maitland-Niles, but he has said that he does not want to play for Arsenal, or does not want to play for Arsenal as a defender. He wants to play in midfield, and he's had his fallouts with Mikel Arteta over it. I don't know why we want to sell Guendouzi. There is a future top-class player in him. It's just being patient and letting him play week in, week out. If he is going to become that top-class player for Arsenal, then you've got to trust him week in, week out. And I have a go at the players as such, but I have a go at our fans. Oh yeah, Granit Xhaka, he's been magnificent. He deserves to keep his place in. He deserves to keep his place in the team. Well, no, he doesn't. Some of you fans, let's say 50, 60% of you need to show a little bit more ambition. But Arsenal fans as a whole need to show a hell of a lot more ambition in terms of protesting against Stan Kroenke. Stop going to games. Stop paying for bullshit. You know, by you going to games, you make him richer. And not only do you make him richer, but you're helping him to build his dreams. And that's hence the reason why he needs another £400 million to build the stadium of one of these teams. I think it's the Colorado Rapids. Arsenal fans, drop that in the comments below. And everything that I've been saying, drop it in the comments below, whether you agree or not. We need a new direction. And I'll tell you something, we're not going anywhere with Kroenke. And it would not surprise me if we do not win the Premier League, or not even win the Premier League, or should I say we do not come close to top 4 in the next 10 years with that prat at the top, and his name's Stan Kroenke, the parasite. Yes, he is a parasite. Whether you're listening or not, Stan, you are a parasite. I don't trust your son too tough either. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. You just don't care. You just don't care. And as it says on the t-shirt, we care, do you? The answer is a capital no. With a big capital N. You are cursed, and you are cursing Arsenal. We're losing money. We're dropping down as a valuable club financially. And whose fault is that? Yours. Look at the players that we have. I can't compare our midfielders to Tottenham's, to Manchester City. I can't compare our defenders to Tottenham's, Man City, Man United's. It's embarrassing. And it's all because of you, Kroenke. Mainly because of you and your recruitment team. I'm glad the scouting team are going. in some senses, because they've scouted complete rubbish. Complete rubbish. I mean, the brightest spark in the club is Arteta, but yet you don't want to help him. You don't want to help him bring in the better players that he wants, the players that he wants that will improve us in the league, in all competitions. Because you're too focused on getting a 400 million loan from God knows where to build the Colorado Rapids Stadium. The best thing you can do, I'll tell you something, Mr. Kroenke, if you truly love yourself the way that you do, and you truly love your wife and your children the way that you say you do, you sell up. You sell up sooner rather than later. Because I and millions of Arsenal fans have had enough of you, and beyond enough of you. The worst thing that's happened to us by 15, 16 years ago, or maybe it was 11, 12 years ago, the worst thing that happened was Lady Nina Brayshaw-Smith selling her shares to you. But to be fair to her, she wasn't to know that you were a complete parasite in the first place. She was never to know that. Now she looks on, she must feel that she is stupid, but she wasn't to know. But again, if you Arsenal fans want to comment on this topic, on this subject, should I say, then drop it in the comments below. And do drive the thumbs up like button for me. More than the down ones. And remember, guys, subscribe to my channel, Left, right, and centre. Smash the subscribe button for me. Passionately and galore. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I do apologise for some of the language that I've used, but I don't apologise for who I've cussed off, because they've deserved it, and I'm not going to take anything back. If you feel that I should take something back, then drop it in the comments below. And we'll go again this afternoon and this evening. So peace, love and bless everybody. Enjoy your day. And I'll be back for more context. See you later.